Hey everyone, it's attorney Matthew Legan Sanchez here. Today let's talk about fighting dirty divorce tricks in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So the first trick you're gonna have to watch out for, it's a dirty trick, is wasting community money during the marriage. Okay, so understand, the court only has jurisdiction and power during divorce to divide an existing asset. An asset that exists like a car, a bank account, even a debt. They can divide that. But if the money is gone, poof, then it's gone and the court doesn't have any power over that. So if one spouse is just blowing money during the marriage, they may be going to the racetrack or going to the bar or just going to Vernon's for lunch every single day and they're ordering Dom Perignon and you're not watching that and all that money's gone, maybe through gambling or whatever it is. Once the money's gone, it's gone. So that's a hard pill to swallow for some spouses when they, file for divorce and they look at the bank accounts and they see potentially thousands, tens of thousands of dollars just gone. The court doesn't have jurisdiction over that. Your court is quickly going to say, if that is brought up in court, objection, the court lacks jurisdiction over this issue. The court doesn't have power to divide anything that doesn't exist. The court's power only exists regarding the picture that is formed, the property, the assets, the debts, at the time that the divorce is filed and properly served. Another dirty trick that comes up during divorce is racking up debt during the divorce. A common misperception is that, hey, if my spouse has a credit card, but I don't have the credit card, my name's on it, that's not my debt. Unfortunately, a perception and reality are two different things, and just having any debt during the marriage, whether it's on your credit card or your spouse's credit card, that's community debt. So it doesn't necessarily need to be an American Express in both of your names. An American Express alone during the marriage, there's debt coming out. Probably is going to be a community debt. There's going to be a presumption that it's community debt. So if your spouse, your ex, is racking up debt, taking lavish vacations, or even doing like body modification, fill in the blank as to what that body modification could be. But if you're racking up debt with expensive meals, lavish vacations, or ultimately just spending money in a way that there's no asset, there could be a debt attached and that you could be on the hook for half of it, because there is a presumption that any debt during the marriage is community debt. A big and very shady trick during divorces, during marriages, is transferring assets during the marriage. It can be very difficult and often the court just doesn't have jurisdiction. If property is transferred from one person to another, like car title or money, if it's transferred from a person in the marriage to a person outside of it, the court may not have jurisdiction under that, under the divorce statute, under the divorce code. You may have to go through unjust enrichment or some other civil cause of action that's outside the scopes of the divorce statute. So you really need to be on the lookout for money being transferred. I've seen cases where a spouse was transferring very large amounts of money to a daughter during the marriage, claiming that it was a non-taxable gift necessary to support the daughter, going on for years and years. All happened during the marriage before it was filed. And the judge in that case said, hey, I don't have jurisdiction over this, no jurisdiction, there's no existing asset, that's expended money during the marriage. And that ruling is supported by a Supreme Court case, Dorbin, where the court basically says that we're not in the duty, we're not in the realm of nitpicking every single expense that happened during the marriage. If it's expended asset, if there's no existing asset, the court lacks jurisdiction over that. So you're really going to need to beware and be on the lookout for money, assets being transferred during the marriage, because that may be outside of the court's jurisdiction and power, and you may lose a claim there. The final dirty trick that can be kind of common during divorce is filing a bogus restraining order and then changing the locks. So understand, when divorce is pending, it's on the horizon, you really need to be aware of, stay away from any act of abuse whatsoever. Don't give any ammunition for your ex or your spouse to file a restraining order, because this restraining order could force you out of your home, and it could enable them, your spouse, to change the locks before a temporary domestic order is entered, and the temporary domestic order basically freezes the status quo and doesn't let you do things like that. So if you're filing a restraining order and getting someone out of the home, then you may not have the need to file a motion for exclusive use of the marital residence, which could be necessary if the divorce is filed and someone's not out of the home. So you really need to stay on guard. The biggest takeaway here is, don't give your ex ammunition to file a bogus restraining order. Monitor your accounts. If you think that a divorce is coming, watch your accounts. Do a credit check. Check what's going on with your finances, because ignorance of the law doesn't excuse you from the law. So if you're ignorant of the fact that the credit card debt in your spouse's name alone during the marriage is community, the judge isn't going to be compelled by, oh, I didn't know that. It doesn't change New Mexico law. So you need to understand, monitor, and be on the lookout for these things, and that can help you prevent the dirty divorce tricks. Do you still have questions about dirty divorce tricks in New Mexico? If so, call me, call attorney Matthew Legan Sanchez, pick up your phone, call 505-SANCHEZ, talk with an experienced divorce attorney, and I could talk to you about your specific case, and we can get to the bottom of your divorce. Call 505-SANCHEZ today.